We bring in Gordon Chang, foreign affairs journalist and author of Nuclear Showdown, North Korea Takes on the World. Nice to see you. So we got a little bit of a tidbit there from Palcott's reporting in which he says that the North Koreans want to denuclearize on their own timetable. Their timetable, our timetable, have got to be vastly different.
Well, certainly. We want the North Koreans to dismantle their program immediately. The North Koreans want to dismantle their program never. So, yeah, there's a difference in timetable.
Is there an idea that you can have a deal that we could propose right here? We could write it up that both the North Koreans and the Americans would accept? It seems as though there's a pretty big chasm there.
Yeah, no, there is no deal right now that both sides would accept. And really, this is an issue not of what the North Koreans want. This is an issue of what President Trump will do to use American power to push the Chinese and Russians out of the way and do other things to make sure that the North Koreans don't have any money. Because if they don't have any money, they can't launch missiles, they can't detonate nukes, and Kim Jong-un can't give gifts to senior regime members in order to buy loyalty, which means he's got to give up his weapons. So basically, it's up to the Trump administration to use the elements of American power.
We know that the Kim regime really likes Lafitte Rothschild and some other first growth Bordeaux. We'll see how the imports of that go. You talk about American power. So did President Trump on Friday when he addressed the naval midshipmen graduating at Annapolis. Take a listen.
So we're building that modern fleet manned by the greatest sailors anywhere in the world. We're sharpening the fighting edge of everything from Marine infantry squads to combat ships to deliver maximum lethal force. The enemy has to know we have that.
We know that Kim Jong-un watches American news. He hears that. What does he make of it?
Well, certainly, you know, there have been a number of threats the Americans have made over the course of the last year. And it's also, you know, John Bolton, when he was a Fox News contributor. That's one of the things that have forced not only the North Koreans to change their policies, but also the Chinese and the South Koreans. And that's one of the reasons why Kim is there right now. It's not only the sanctions, it's also the threat of use of force.
You go back to whether the president is willing to use some coercive U.S. power to not only affect North Korea, but it affect the Chinese, things like blacklisting the Bank of China. Do you get the sense that there's the political will in the administration to do that?
Not at this particular moment. On June 29th last year, the president...
Kim seems to know that, though, at some level, right? Or at least thinks it?
Yeah, I think that he's sort of looked at what happened, for instance, with ZTE. ZTE is that embattled Chinese telecom equipment manufacturer. The Chinese said very publicly, look, you're not going to get a trade deal, Mr. Trump, unless you give us sanctions relief on ZTE. Well, the president has said he's going to do that. So, you know, Trump has wilted under pressure on this. That doesn't mean that Trump can't get back and push the Chinese around again. And I think our president needs to do that so as a demonstration effect for Kim. Once he sees that Trump is willing to bully the Chinese a little bit, then I think that Kim will actually start to play ball with us. But until we do that, you know, this is going to be very difficult.
In a way, if you're Kim Jong-un, you see him bully the Chinese, you realize it's a lot easier to be bullied as the North Koreans than the Chinese. Gordon Chang, appreciate your insights. As always, we've got a lot to talk about before June 12th.